we're back at it again with how to light a music video that's being captured on 16mm film. I want to talk about my personal experience with shooting film, specifically breaking down this music video that I had to shoot, which meant I had to direct and DP for this artist named Blanca. Forming to the camera, and I'm like coming around, you kind of going the opposite direction as the camera's going. She was an absolute sweetheart on set. When the label actually initially reached out to me, they were looking for ways to not just make it a performance video, but kind of go the extra mile where it's not a full music video, but maybe somewhere in the middle there. I just pitched a couple of ideas that maybe were adding on to what they were wanting. I'm personally always trying to film more things on analog cameras, and I pitched this treatment for filming the whole video on 16mm, and the label gods granted me this wish. I was super excited because, you know, we don't get to shoot on film that often. Obvious reason being that film just generally costs a lot. You know, projects like this come by very so often, and I'm very grateful that I was trusted to make this happen. With full transparency, the overall budget for this music video was between 15 to 17, and the cost of the camera rental film, which meant the film stock and the development, added up to about 20% of that cost. We filmed this music video with about 4 rolls of Kodak 500T film and shot it on the ARRI SR3 paired with the 8 to 64mm lens. In terms of lighting needs and crew, I was only able to bring on a gaffer and a grip/best boy to help me on this set. Paul Williams, a local lighting legend in Nashville, brought his small van lighting package, and we had roughly about 4 big fixtures that we could set up. But also keep in mind, we only had 4 outlets in this whole warehouse to work with. Artists, Glam needed one, you know, another one was for our Teradek monitor, and the other 2 were kind of, one of them was being used for a makeshift green room and lamps, and then Paul needed the remaining outlets for his lights, so we had to split stuff up. Okay, let's take a quick second and thank today's sponsor, which is myself, basically, because I don't have any sponsors right now. If you've seen any of my past videos, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for taking time to watch this. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. That way I know that you're enjoying content like this, and I can go and make more breakdown videos similar to this. Thank you. Okay, so the key lighting setup we had for the major performance takes involved 3 lights that we had to actually mount to the steel columns up above. We picked a spot that was relatively central to the whole room. That way, when we were doing a 360 camera move, we're able to feel like it's somewhat of an even, you know, there's somewhere central in the whole room. The idea was to be able to shoot 360 and not see any of our stands on the ground. In terms of lighting fixtures, we had 2 Aputure Novas that were mounted on the side columns, and then we had 1 light mat right in the middle, all with soft boxes and diff on them, and I think all around 80% intensity. We went with the slimmer lights so that we'd have more room to start wider without seeing the lights up above. I had initially dreamed of doing like a 12 by softbox right above and just shoot all the lights through, you know, a 12 by frame of whatever diffusion and just make it easy. But that turns out to be a 3 to 4 person job, and we had no more monies, no more hands, no more workers, no more budget.
Tell you the truth, the brothers make me cook stew and stuff all day, but they don't give me money for fresh ingredients.
And the other restraint being that we probably would have needed some kind of lift that would get us up there, and we couldn't rely just on our ladders. The key to shooting projects on film is to try to overexpose by a stop or 2. because that way when you get into your color grade and post, you're able to pull down your highlights and recover those shadows as well. You can crush them, add more contrast. You know, this is a tip that Louis Potts put out on the internet. I recently lost my lighting meter and couldn't find one in time to use for this shoot, but luckily I had my FX3 camera with me to check exposure levels and make sure that we're staying in the right levels. We aim to expose for 24 frames, you know, 500 ISO at a 5.6, but on the lens living on a T4 to like a T5, that in between there, just to give us a little more latitude in our exposure. Now, I wish that we had maybe one more light to work with on set, because we were filming some choreographed scenes with these dancers that came through and really stepped up the whole video, but we were filming these in 60 frames. And you know, I could have used a little more light for those scenes, but I like how moody they ended up looking. For these choreographed scenes, which we literally figured out in less than 10 minutes before we shot this, but really impressive how everyone pulled this off. I changed the two novas on the sides to do a slow pulse in daylight and to give us another look per se. I found inspo from the Stormzy music video that I'm sure you've seen a million times, and I just love how the Steadicam was kind of part of the movement. Rule number 2, don't make the promise. If you can't keep the deal, then just be. There are so many impressive camera movements in that music video, and definitely was good inspo for me. If you believe in your source, then raise a toast. These are some genius thoughts, so make them. So once we cut out the dancers, we did another look by cutting our main overhead lighting set and doing a tracking shot on Steadicam in the backside of the warehouse. And we moved the spotlight to where it was a little more central. I had Paul kind of swinging the light through the garage doors, and I really liked this because it was creating depth in the shot, and because the light was moving, and it was kind of accentuating the shadows of the columns and the windows and all that stuff. And it just gave me another look to work with in post-production. And this is where haze becomes your best buddy, because it helps accentuate the hard lights that are pouring through the windows and just give a little bit of an ambiance to the whole room, I guess. And then in post, here is what the raw footage looked like before the color grade, and here it is after. All right, thanks y'all for watching. I'll see you guys real soon. How soon? I don't know exactly, but soon.
Incredible.
Yes, good job.
We did it.
Incredible. Thank you, Blanca.
Thank you.
Stayed up.